Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back. So today I'm going to try to get the shift light all programmed. I have my serial adapter hooked up to the laptop here. We checked last time and I already know that the rev limiter is set to 6600. So I'm just going to come in here, play around with the software for the Innovate gauge, and probably set it to like 6400 as like the max RPM for the red light to come on. So I went onto Innovate site and I downloaded the latest firmware that they had, and I'm just going to try flashing this over before I actually go into the software. With this actually connected, you can see it actually switches to PRG, so programming mode. I had to actually go in here and manually update the driver for this Amazon serial adapter because it kept saying no serial port detected, but I got it to work. See that? It says program once we're actually in here, so I'm just going to go to update firmware right now. And this actually says 102, so I doubt it's probably already updated. But let's see anyway. It's taking it. You can see I have a little tune here that I was kind of just messing around with the Tahoe. I was watching some of Sloppy Mechanics videos, and I just kind of did the thing where you have power enrichment come on sooner, and I flashed that over. And it woke the thing up quite a bit, but I ended up taking it off in the end just because I don't have a wideband on that yet, so I don't want to leave it any changes to the tune until I can actually get a wideband on it and see what it's doing. But yes, we will be eventually doing stuff to the Tahoe and hopefully giving it some more power. Alright, it looks like it took. So is this... trying to figure out why is all this grayed out. We go to progressive, it'll this will be where the light comes on, so I could decide at what RPM the green's going to come on, then the yellow, and then the red. And that's how I want it. I want to kind of slowly see it come up so I know the shift point's coming up. So I'm just going to go right ahead here and we'll set red to 6400. This stuff could stay where it is. I don't really see a need to have to change that. Alright, so I did a little reading, and the only other thing I have to set here is in the RPM settings. Obviously it's on 2-cylinder, I got to put on 8-cylinder. As for the actual RPM, like the progressive, it'll just kind of come up like an RPM gauge. So it'll just be like all the lights green, 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 yellow, and then all the way up to red. So I'm going to leave it on progressive. We'll see how that does. Alright, so let's go over here, start grabbing blower parts. This is actually a box for the rear end. I have like an extra bearing kit. But I need my pulley here. We need... I guess I'll throw 2 belts on while I'm at it. Because when the belt started kind of chirping, I thought it was the regular serpentine belt. But it was just the blower belt. When it would slip, it would get loose and it would start chirping when it was cold. But I have 2 new belts. We'll throw both of them on. Got the coupler. Look at this belt. We start down here. You see we got some ribs. Then we don't have any ribs. Then we have some ribs. Then we have a little valley right there. Then we come up again. Some ribs. Oh, no ribs there. No ribs there. They kind of start to come back over here. Then we come down here. Oop, no ribs again. Another pothole in the rib road. Coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down, and the rest is good. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the belt is slipping around this pulley because all of the there's only really 3 grooved pulleys on this thing. It's either the blower pulley, the crank pulley, or the little idler here. And right away, just looking at this with the belt off, you can see how the ribs here are all kind of like marred up and the paint's gone. It's shiny just from that slipping around there. I mean, if you just look at this pulley, it's just incredibly glossy. I mean, there's absolutely... And especially since this is a 2.4, it's way smaller than the stock one. I can't see how the belt, no matter how much tension you throw on this thing, that's going to keep from slipping. So the Weapon X one I'm putting on over here is so much better than that. Same diameter. It's another 2.4. But look at that. It's got this kind of like matte finish on it. It's kind of textured. The ribs also seem like they're a good amount deeper. If we look at this one, as I think they are. It looks like the ribs are deeper on this one. So this is definitely going to solve my problem from shredding belt and having chunks and everything fall off. Because I was talking to Greg from LSA Concepts, and he was trying to help me out. We were trying to figure out what the hell was going wrong. If it was a problem with the accessory drive, if the belt was slipping on like an idler or something, if there was like play in one of the pulleys. So he told me to pull everything off, check the pulleys. I did that already, and everything was fine. I mean, the whole setup is very simple. You just have the crank pulley, you have these idlers right here with the tensioner, and I mean, that is it. So once I went back and looked at my track footage, I'm going to put a little clip of that up right now. But you hear right there when I do that 3 to 4 shift, you hear the RPM kind of bog down. And at first I thought it was the clutch, but then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, if it was the clutch, it would rev up higher and probably bump off the limiter. It wouldn't bog down. So that bog is most likely the blower slipping and causing it to lose some power up top. But we have this guy that's going to be going on. To install this, it's relatively straightforward. We have the press right here, so that'll make easy work of it. And all I'm going to do is pull the intake off, pull the snout off, and then we're going to come in here and pull off the LSX Concepts pieces, because I do have that new hardware that Greg sent me, which is all stainless. So we'll put that on, get that looking good. We'll put some new belts on it. Also going to pop in the Lingenfelter isolator while the snout is off. Should be enough. Oh yeah, I got the how did I do this last time? Because I have the meth injector on here. Forgot about that. Ugh. And just oh, that's easy enough. I guess we'll get the snout out of the way. It's easy enough just to kind of zip this off. There are like belt chunks all over the place in here. Brake booster hose. And then I gotta come in here and undo one of these lid bolts, because the one lid bolt right under here, it just extends like out of the casing, and the snout gets hooked on it sometimes when you're trying to pull it out. Here I got ahead of myself, and I should have cut the belt off last, or at least took the pulley bolts out first. But the last time I had this off and I did the isolator, I was able to just zip those out with the ratchet. But apparently they're tighter than they were before. I'm just going for it. Now, a lot of people are going to cringe, but I have no intention of reusing this pulley and no intention of selling it, because it obviously slips and it is useless. So, yep. Look at that. Got some grip now. Come to pop. Cool, it looks exactly the same it did the other 4 times I pulled it off. And there's the LSX Innovations pulley. A couple are I'm going to be replacing. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just going to the factory style while I'm in here. I'm going to start cleaning all this crap off with the drill and the wire brush. And you guys go to commercial. I'll meet you on the bench. All right, unfortunately, I still didn't get around to mounting the vise. The way I usually do this is just mount that in the vise and then hit it with the drill with the wire brush on it. So I'm going to have to somehow cradle this thing in my knees or something and do it on the floor. But the LSX Innovations coupler here, still very, very tight. I had the same style. I'm going to put a link to the video at the top of the screen, but I had the same style from ZZP. It's like a green one that I put together when I put the blower on the car and the whole thing together, and it started making a rattling noise, which I thought was the bearing in the blower. And then once I pull the thing apart, this whole coupler piece it was actually loose on here, so it wouldn't fit down. It fit snug when I put the thing together, but when I went to pull it off when it was making the noise, it was actually loose. And with this staying still, you could kind of like click, click, click. This would actually kind of just rotate on the shaft, and the thing would pop right off. Like, it was really loose on here. I don't know why, but I haven't had much luck with the ZZP stuff. Oof. I just flipped this thing over. Look at all the belt shit under there. Alright, it's the next day. I got the snout all cleaned up here. Come over to the press and get this set up. Now, the way I press this thing out is I just pressed the whole shaft out because I actually did bearings on this thing. And when I replaced the bearings, it seemed like that was the easiest way just to get everything out. I mean, you could probably use some kind of a puller. I'm sure there's like a special tool for this. But for me, it's easier just to press the whole shaft out. So we're going to press against the inside of here, and the shaft is going to come out and leave the coupler behind, and it's going to come out this end. Then we just got to press the whole thing back together and then put the new pulley on. I think that is low enough. I'm just going to get a little socket here. I know it's chrome, and this isn't exactly the right use for a socket, but it works. So right now the shaft is pressing through the bottom. You're going to want to catch it. And then that's it. You can see what I mean where the bearing comes out. These I replaced, so these bearings are all new. So it's just going to come through here. You're just going to want to put a socket on the underside. So with the shaft back through, just get a socket that's going to fit right around there and fit against the hard face, that bearing there. And we're just going to press this down like this. You can see the bearing didn't press out. Shaft is all back in. Now we can go ahead and just press our new hub and pulley on. Kind of the same deal with the socket. I have the new Weapon X hub here. We're going to be putting the socket at the bottom of this now. When we press the hub on, it's not just going to push the shaft through. Now when you install this, you want it to be flush with the end of the shaft. So what I'm going to do here is just get this started most of the way down. Actually, I'm just going to flip this, and we're going to press it in from this side. And that is going to solve my problem, because I'll just be pressing against the steel at the bottom, which is already flat. So once the pulley stops moving, we know that the shaft is going to be flush with the end of the hub. I think that's it. Right, I'm going to glance the instructions quick. I'm pretty sure they want you to use some kind of Loctite, which I don't know if I have here. Alright, it looks like we're torquing this down to 60 inch-pounds. Alright, I had to run down to AutoZone to get some Loctite. And I had to run home to get my inch-pound torque wrench. We're just going to torque these guys down to 60 inch-pounds. Give them a little drop of Loctite. And to hold this, I'm just going to use a flathead. I'm going to put it between the studs on the coupler over here. Mother. All right, so if I got to hit record after the torque spit didn't end up fitting the quarter-inch ratchet, quarter-inch torque wrench. So what I ended up doing though was getting one size smaller, which isn't really the right way to do it, but it did work. And it fit in here. Funny thing with a Harbor Freight torque wrench is you're not going to hear the click really. You just got to kind of feel it break away. So it worked though. Now I'm going to pop the coupler on. We'll throw some Ultra Gray RTV on this, get it back on the car, and then I guess we'll start pulling the bolts out and replacing them for the accessory drive with the stainless stuff. I forgot I still have to clean the blower off, so I'm just going to stuff some rags in there, come in with the same wire brush with the drill, get that all cleaned up. Maybe blow it out with some compressed air, get all these rubber pieces and shit out of here. Alright, so the blower's all cleaned up. I think I'm just going to go and put the snout back on. It doesn't look like it's going to really be in the way when it comes to accessing the bolts of the accessory drive and stuff. Alright, just like that, the snout's back on. I just left the throttle body off because it's going to be easier to come in here and get to these bolts that are right under it when I go and put the stainless stuff in. But I got all the vacuum lines on, I got the regulator back on. I actually pulled out the torque wrench and torqued this thing down. I couldn't really find a set spec on it. Some stuff was saying that they're torque to yield. Lingenfelter, I think, was saying like 27 foot-pounds. There really wasn't anything I could find in the stock stuff. So I set it to 22 foot-pounds. That felt just about right. Pulley's nice and tight. New couplers in there. So I'm going to end this one here. I think this video is already kind of long. So next video, we're going to tackle the bolts, get the stainless ones in there, get the serpentine belt on, get the new blower belt on, and we should be ready to start it up. We got the pulley on. We got the isolator on. So we're making progress. Yeah, next video, we'll take care of the hardware. Get the new belt on. We'll finish up the blower stuff. Actually, the next video coming out might not be work on this because my quick jacks are supposed to be coming tomorrow. So I'll probably shoot a setup video. We'll test those out, lift the car with it. But I do have to get this together so I can actually move the car out and set them up and kind of get them under there. So if you don't see the quick jack video, you'll see the video of us finishing this up. All right, so it looks like that's going to wrap up another one. We're making good progress on this thing. I think we're going to make it for the 22nd. The biggest job is going to be this whole transmission fiasco. So once we get that apart, we're really going to see. I mean, even if we didn't make it, there's plenty of other events I can take the car to. So it's not too much of a big deal. I'm just trying to set a goal for myself so I can actually get this stuff finished because I've been putting it on the back burner for a while and I really want to get this thing back to the track. But once again, that's finally going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, guys, please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in a couple of days.